A new flashpoint is emerging in West Asia, and Moscow is drawing a hard red line. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is slamming fresh U.S. threats of military action against Iran, calling them absolutely unacceptable, and warning the consequences could ripple far beyond the region. In prepared remarks released ahead of a press conference, Lavrov accused Washington of pushing the world closer to a dangerous escalation, saying any renewed act of aggression against Iran would have grave consequences for regional stability and global security. Lavrov also warned against what he describes as the exploitation of foreign-inspired unrest as a pretext for military action, pointing directly to the aggression against Iran in June 2025. He said repeating such actions would seriously undermine international stability at a moment when tensions are already running dangerously high. The comments come as U.S. Central Command continues to deploy warships, fighter jets, and troops across the region, moves Washington describes as protecting regional security, but which Tehran views as preparation for confrontation. Iran has already issued a stark warning. Any act of aggression, it says, will be met with a swift and forceful response. The rhetoric intensified further after U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee claimed President Donald Trump doesn't make empty threats, citing Iran's nuclear program and recent unrest as potential grounds for military action. Tehran's response has been equally blunt. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has warned that any U.S. strike would not remain limited, but would spiral into a full-scale regional war. Against that backdrop, the Kremlin says Russia is taking a very different approach. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized that Moscow is actively working to de-escalate tensions, not inflame them, offering practical diplomatic solutions that have been on the table for years. Those proposals include Russia processing or storing Iran's enriched uranium, a move Moscow says could reduce pressure and remove what it calls irritants for multiple countries. Peskov stressed that Russia remains in contact with all relevant parties and is committed to calming the crisis, not weaponizing it. As Washington leans on threats and coercion, Moscow says it is choosing diplomacy, warning that the alternative could ignite yet another conflict with consequences the world cannot afford. And as the standoff deepens, one message from Russia is unmistakable. Another war with Iran would not be contained, and the fallout would be global.
This particular topic has been a subject of discussion and consideration for a significant period of time, and Russia, for quite a while now, has consistently put forward its services as a potential and viable option, one that could ultimately lead to the successful elimination of specific points of contention or the removal of certain irritants for a number of different countries. At this present moment, Russia is steadfastly continuing its diplomatic efforts and is actively engaged in maintaining communications with all relevant stakeholders, and to the utmost extent of its capabilities, it consistently upholds its unwavering commitment to proactively contribute to the de-escalation of the prevailing tensions surrounding the situation in Iran.
In the fragile world of nuclear diplomacy, a familiar power is stepping forward, once again, as a would-be mediator. The Kremlin says Russia is ready to help remove Iran's enriched uranium, reviving a proposal that Moscow claims has been on the table for years. According to the Kremlin, discussions about Russia potentially taking custody of Iranian enriched uranium are not new. Instead, Moscow says it has long offered itself as a broker, positioning the move as a way to ease tensions surrounding Iran's nuclear program. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov confirmed that Russia has repeatedly raised the option with multiple parties, saying it could help remove certain irritants for countries concerned about Iran's nuclear activities. Russia, he said, is maintaining contacts with all sides and remains ready to assist in de-escalating the standoff. But Tehran is pushing back. a senior Iranian official has flatly denied that Iran plans to transfer any enriched nuclear material abroad. Ali Bahari, deputy for foreign policy at Iran's Supreme National Security Council Secretariat, said negotiations are not focused on moving uranium out of the country and that no such plan exists. Iranian officials have no plan to transfer enriched nuclear materials to any country, he said, dismissing reports suggesting otherwise. His comments come amid conflicting signals. Earlier reporting suggested that diplomacy was ongoing and that Iran may be willing to show flexibility on enrichment, including the possible handover of hundreds of kilograms of highly enriched uranium under specific arrangements. Iran now insists that such options are not part of the talks. Meanwhile, Moscow says its role is not about pressure, but prevention. The Kremlin insists it is still working to de-escalate tensions around Iran, repeating that it has long offered to store or process enriched uranium as a confidence-building measure. At stake is more than diplomacy. Iran's nuclear program remains one of the most sensitive flashpoints in global security, watched closely by the United States, Israel, Europe, and the wider Middle East. Whether Russia's offer becomes a breakthrough or just another stalled proposal remains uncertain. What is clear is this: the question of Iran's enriched uranium is back at the center of global diplomacy, and the margins for miscalculation are shrinking.
Our government officials and political experts are dedicating a considerable amount of their attention to the situation concerning Iran. And one can only sincerely hope that the United States will not resort to such drastic actions as a full-scale invasion of Iran or the launching of any kind of extensive bombing and missile strikes, because such a course of action would undoubtedly lead directly to a third world war. It's one thing when they kidnapped the president of Venezuela. Yes, that was a relatively minor operation, but this is a massive 80 million strong nation, incredibly well armed and fully equipped. If there are repercussions, then many surrounding countries could also suffer. The same Israel and the countries of the Arab world, they are also categorically opposed to any military operation in Iran. Moreover, Iran, if necessary, has already threatened to block the Strait of Hormuz, which would effectively halt all oil trade. This is such a massive problem for the entire world, if not to say that it could simply become completely insurmountable. Therefore, here, step-by-step conflicts could begin, which would inevitably lead to a nuclear catastrophe. I am not at all sure that solely with missile strikes and bombings, it is possible to resolve the Iranian problem for the Americans. A ground operation is necessary in any scenario, but will the Americans be able to conduct a ground operation in Iran? I don't think that this will be some kind of easy walk. Iranians are a courageous people with a tremendous history, who know how to defend themselves and to protect their homelands. And I think that just yesterday, information emerged that American and Iranian working groups have reportedly started making contact. And I truly hope they won't let the situation escalate into a war.